I remember the moment like it was carved into stone. The dining room was filled with laughter that wasn't mine. My son sat proudly at the head of the table, his in-laws on one side, his wife, the queen she thought herself to be, on the other. And me, at the far end, clearing plates, refilling glasses, invisible. Until she opened her mouth. She leaned back in her chair, looked at her parents, then at me, and said with a smile that cut deeper than any knife, "Don't worry, she's basically the maid around here." The room erupted in polite chuckles. My son didn't correct her, he didn't flinch. He just let the word hang in the air, staining me like grease on silk. I stood frozen, one hand on the empty wine bottle, the other clutching the chair. My face calm, my heart steady. But inside, something shifted. That was the moment I stopped being his mother and started being her reckoning. When she first entered our lives, I welcomed her with open arms. She was pretty, polite, wide-eyed. My son loved her, and that was enough for me. I gave her my recipes. I took her shopping. I handed her the heirloom bangles my husband had given me the year before he died. Family, I thought. That's what she was meant to be. But slowly, I began to notice the cracks. The way her eyes lingered on the expensive things in the house. The way she asked about the property, the deeds, the accounts. She was too interested in what wasn't hers. And my son, blinded by her smile, never saw it. It was little things at first. My bank statements misplaced. My documents shifted. She thought I wouldn't notice. But I've lived long enough to know when someone is digging for gold. And she wasn't digging for love. One evening I overheard her on the phone, whispering. I didn't catch every word, but I heard enough. Once it's in our name, we can. Our name, not his, not mine, hers. I said nothing. Silence became my shield. You see, she thought of me as weak, as old, a burden tucked into a corner of the house. She had no idea whose name was on the mortgage. She had no idea whose savings had kept this roof over her head. She had no idea who she was calling the maid. So I let her play her game. I let her believe she was winning. And all the while, I planned. I met with my lawyer quietly. I reviewed the accounts. I made sure every paper was in order, every signature in place. My son thought he owned the house, but he didn't. It was mine, paid with my sweat, secured with my name. Step 1, I changed my will. Not a penny, not a brick, not a spoon would fall into her hands. Step 2, I adjusted the accounts. Every joint signature she thought she had access to was stripped away. Step 3, I waited. I knew her arrogance would deliver the perfect stage. And it did. That night, after she called me the maid, I didn't speak. I simply walked to my room, unlocked the drawer, and pulled out the thick folder I had prepared weeks before. When the plates were cleared, I came back. Everyone was still at the table, the laughter fading, the air sticky with wine. I placed the folder in front of her. She frowned. "What's this?" "The house," I said softly. "The one you think you live in." Her parents leaned forward. My son looked confused. She flipped it open. Pages of mortgage statements, ownership deeds, bank receipts, all with my name printed clearly, boldly. Her face drained of color. "You see," I continued, my voice steady, "you called me the maid, but the maid doesn't hold the keys to your future." I pulled the keys from my pocket, heavy, shining, final. I placed them in her hand. Good luck paying the mortgage now. I turned to my son. His lips parted, his eyes wide, guilt creeping across his face like dawn over ruins. "I'm moving out tomorrow," I told him. "The house is yours, if you can keep it. I won't be paying another dime." The silence was thicker than the walls. Her parents shifted uncomfortably, realizing their golden daughter wasn't as clever as she thought. The next morning, I packed my bags. Not hurried, not weeping, calm, deliberate, certain. As I walked out the door, I heard them arguing, her voice sharp, his desperate. The house that once felt like a prison was now their battlefield. And me? I was free. I rented a small flat across town. Sunlight streamed through the windows, and the air tasted lighter. For years, I carried the weight of being his mother, of holding the family together, of sacrificing for his happiness. But in the end, the only person I owed peace to was myself. She called me the maid. But now, she scrubs her own floors, cooks her own meals, and begs my son to make ends meet. As for me, I rest easy at night, because I didn't raise my voice. I didn't beg for respect. I simply handed her the keys and locked her in her own cage. They thought they humiliated me, but I don't live in that house anymore. I live in freedom, and they live in debt. Tell me, who's the maid now?